watch YouTube and I don't know who's a credible source. That's the most important thing. Who do you get your information from? And in the finance market, it's best you don't listen to anybody under 30 because all they've known is a good economy. And then that's why you buy the dip, don't fight the Fed and all that. Well, the Fed's the cause of our problem, along with the Treasury, as well as Wall Street. And that's why I thank you all for listening to the Rich Dad Radio program. This is What Do You See in 2023? And hopefully you don't lose your job in 2023 or lose your house. But I want to go into a few things you can do. Yeah, and Kenny realized he's an old guy, over 30 also. He has the experience of going up and down. We buy damaged property all the time. I just invest. I'm not really a real estate guy. I invest in real estate because of debt. And the more debt I have, the less tax I pay. But that's financial education. Mm-hmm. So I like to leave this with this thought right here, what Jim was saying, is I don't save cash. I save gold and silver. I've been saying that for most of my life. You know, I have tons, you have tons of gold and silver. To me, that's cash because it's liquid. If I have a gold coin, I can spend it today. So I'd rather save gold coins and silver coins. And I do. I own gold mines and silver mines. So part of being an old guy and all this, and I've lost many opportunities because I just don't trust the stock market because in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I think the stock market is rigged. Just as gold and silver is rigged. You know, it's called, I got the name of all this stuff. But if you buy SLV, which is silver, it's an ETF, how do you know there's any silver there? You buy GLD, which is paper gold. How do you know there's any gold there? You really don't. So I'm kind of a skeptic and a cynic, much like or cautious. I'd rather have the physical gold and silver in my hands if you can get it. And the reason people are having a hard time getting it because the premiums, let's say the spot of silver is 20 bucks, the premium may be an extra $5 on top. The premium is because it's hard to get. So when premiums are going up, it's actually a good sign for me because I do own tons. Kim and I do own gold mines, silver mines, silver. We don't keep it at the house, so don't come visit me. In safe vaults all over the world. I've been preparing for this crisis coming for years and years and years. So let me dumb it down, because one of the best things about Rich Dad is I do our best to keep it simple. My philosophy, and I don't expect you to agree with me, is I don't touch anything the government can print. So I don't trust cash. I don't trust stocks. I don't trust bonds. And I simply trust things they cannot print. So when I invest in oil, I don't invest in oil stocks. I invest in my friend Mike Vaselli because we own oil wells. So what happened was when Biden took the Keystone XL pipeline offline, this was one of the first acts he did. That's how I knew he was working for Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum. He took oil off the Keystone pipeline off. I was pumping oil at 30 bucks a barrel. I was happy. The moment he cut off the Keystone pipeline, at that time, I think it went over $100 a barrel. So I was watching Biden do this in 2020 when he came in. And I went, he's screwing us. Biden is intentionally screwing the poor middle class. So when the price of oil went up, unfortunately, I get richer. I have more cash. I buy more gold, silver, and real estate. Second thing, so I don't buy anything they can print. I invest in land and property, which is I control via the asset, we call the interest rates. I also own cattle, and I own Wagyu breeding bulls. Why Wagyu? Because Wagyu is a brand. The rich will always have money. Do I kill the cattle? No, I buy the bull, and what I want from the bull is the semen. Because they pay for the semen. It's called semen flow or cash flow. So just some of my ideas is that because I'm so cynical, since I was a kid, you know, when I was 17 years old, I picked up a dime. This is 1964. I picked up a dime, and the dime had copper on it. And that was Gresham's law. Gresham's law says when fake money enters the system, real money goes into hiding. So because because my rich dad had educated me, when I looked at that dime, I said, what does that mean? He says, you better start finding some real dimes. So now 17 years old, I would caddy and do anything to make a few bucks. I'd go down to the bank and I'd buy, rolls of silver coins like dimes and quarters, sometimes $50. I didn't have much money. And I looked for that copper lining. And if it had copper in it, I just gave it back to the bank and got dimes and quarters without this copper lining. It's fake money. Again, Gresham's law states, when fake money enters the system or bad money enters the system, good money goes into hiding. So as far as I'm concerned, and you talk to your financial planner, I have no stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETF. I only invest in things they cannot rent. So that's been my rule of thumb. If you can get gold and silver, I hold that instead of cash. Because if I need cash, I just take my gold down to my gold and silver guy and I get cash. So those are my philosophies. I make no money from this. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I simply tell you what I do. And what I do is I just don't trust my government. I don't trust the government. I don't trust Biden. I meant that the Biden crime family. Notice Jim talked about Ukraine and China. Mm-hmm. Where was Biden getting his money? Ukraine, Russia, China. I just don't trust him. You have the Federal Reserve Bank, which is really a cartel. It's really fascism. The definition of fascism is when a private enterprise owns a public service. So the Fed is run by a bunch of very powerful bankers, but it puts out the Fed as into the government service. That's fascism. So I don't trust them, and I definitely don't trust Wall Street. In Wall Street, only people that make money are insiders. So if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, especially my book, Cash Flow Quadrant, there's ES, that's for self-employed small business, who pay the highest taxes. You have B, which is big business, 500 employees or more. Or I doesn't stand for investor, it stands for insider. So for like Sarah, when you bought your first lakefront property real estate, you're an insider of the team. So Rich Dad stays away from all the pundits like financial planners and all that stuff. If you like them, knock yourself out. That's your choice. But simply said, I don't trust anything the government can print. I'd rather have what's real. So if I leave you with that, that's part of our series. We started with Kenny McElroy on real estate, and this series with Jim Rickards. What do you see in 2023? May I remind you one more time. Watch these videos repetitively if you have time. Don't trust everybody on YouTube because some of them are charlatans and fakes. For those who are invested with Sam Bankman-Fried, or fraud as Jim calls it, I feel for you, But it was not a mistake. Jim kind of covered that in his first book, Currency Wars. Jim has been through the mill as I have. So with that said, I personally don't trust anything that can be printed. If I want to eat steak, I don't want to eat paper steak. It's time to get smarter with your money. Back there is my cash flow board game. For those who haven't played it, please pay it, because your biggest asset is this, found between this year and this year. It's called your brain or your mind. Play the cash flow repeatedly. Understand how cash is flowing, because if you cannot control cash flow, it'll eat you alive.